From giving themselves some hard-earned rest to intense strength training, here are some examples of what MLB players get to do when they're not busy knocking balls out of parks. Let me start by discussing strength training. Every MLB player has a distinct approach to strength training because they all have different objectives for this period of their off-season. For success in season, a solid physical foundation must be built throughout the off-season. This entails creating the groundwork necessary for the athlete to accomplish a bunch of things. That includes throwing the ball far, striking hard, throwing quickly, sprinting, and shifting directions.
You can do it. You're a major league athlete, right? Just work on it. So I know when my shoulders get closed, I make this move to the ball. I'm right here, left foot, right foot, power feed.
It's also a way for them to build their muscles and their power to be able to increase their athleticism. This may include improving the player's reflexes and flexibility. Some of these MLB stars get personal trainers, and they give each player their individual attention while putting in extra effort to help build each individual's strengths and capability. Some players will often use this time of their off-season to lift larger weights or to alter their eating habits to bring more power and finesse to their game. The athlete's legs are, after all, where all of the power comes from. Therefore, leg strength and power are essential for throwing, hitting, sprinting, and directional changes. But to prevent the upper body from acting as a weak link between the athlete's legs and the objects they hit, upper body training will also be a necessity for players.
We're going to spread shoulders apart, out, slow down, pull, slow down.
These include things such as bodybuilding by lifting heavy weights and starting aerobics, which helps them build stamina and be better on the pitch. But even though strength and training are essential for players, there's something else that's equally important, and that's getting some mental rest. Without a doubt, a player must, after a tiring season, rest his body as well as his mind. The thought process behind this is to not let the mind overwork itself after a long and tiring season that they just played. This applies to the players operating under so much pressure all the time that even if their physical bodies are well rested and fed, their brains need to rest as well. If the player doesn't rest his mind, they'll get worn out. This might lead to them being dissatisfied and disgruntled all the time, making their mental deteriorate over time. But luckily, not every player is constantly under pressure 24/7. Some live a very stress-free life after the season, with no press pestering them with questions and with little post-season stress or problems. This off-season stress-free life usually applies to major leagues as they become set to refuel, relax, and enjoy the free time they've got. They might go on a trip to Europe with their wife, think about investing in another company, or take a trip to the mountains to reset their minds and just log off. As much as it's necessary to have mental rest, as soon as the season ends, taking out time to allow muscles to heal and regenerate's vital for health too. After a long and demanding season, it's essential for players to allow their bodies to recover. This includes getting sufficient sleep, eating healthy foods, and allowing their bodies time to heal from any injuries sustained during the season. Playing professional baseball is physically demanding and can lead to injuries if players do not give their bodies adequate time to recover. Therefore, rest and recovery are crucial for injury prevention as they allow the body time to heal from the season's stresses. Sometimes, you just need to relax to achieve greatness. Players who have recently recovered from an injury also use this time to rest the body part they hurt during the season. The type of rehabilitation the player receives and its time period is usually frequently based on the severity of the injury and the age of the athlete.
That's an opposite field base hit for Will Smith. Turner's headed home. Here's the throw from Harper, not in time.
Age plays a major fact in the type of training a player engages in during the off-season. Younger athletes, whose bodies heal more quickly, may be able to be more active in their off-season efforts to increase overall strength. In order to keep playing at a high level as they age, older players may concentrate mostly on maintenance and injury avoidance. And while the off-season is crucial for position players to rest, pitchers' recovery is even more crucial. This is due to their arms needing to recover from a long season's worth of wear and tear. Some pitchers even stop pitching altogether for almost 10 weeks.
It opened up the big inning, but what a great play, great hands, and once he gets the ball in his hand, an easy throw across the diamond with a strong arm.
Many also concentrate on building up their physical strength during the strength training phase, but they also zero in on mobility and endurance because these are essential for maintaining health throughout a season. Once it's time for the skill training phase, the pitchers start throwing once again. When the strength training part enters the mix, a lot of pitchers focus on gaining power in their bodies, but they also focus on mobility and endurance as they are key to staying healthy over the course of a full season. Once those muscles have been well rested, it's time for players to train them for what's to come next. Players eventually focus on position-specific abilities to retrain the movements that enable them to perform at a high level. They frequently maintain their strength training program during this period, and of course, they put more attention on the baseball-specific skills that they want to become better at.
It's either going to be a throw, like if I get too far up the middle, it's going to be a throw, or if I'm closer to cutting it off, it's going to be an underhand feed.
A player's skill training time typically consists of two phases, the retraining phase and the improving phase. During the retraining period, players spend a week or two knocking off the rust as they haven't played for a while. This then transforms into an intense training to further refine their skills. Now, although you may see this as too much work to bear, wait till you hear what's next in store. The majority of baseball players in the professional ranks won't be in Paris. These players are known as minor leaguers, and the offseason provides them with a much-needed buffer from the challenging conditions of life in the minors. Most minor leaguers don't have the luxury of wasting time at wine tasting or going abroad whenever they feel like it. Most of these players don't play baseball for their primary and sole income. Instead, they play it primarily because of their passion for the sport and because they're just building their career so they can slowly make it up to the big leagues. Most of these MLB players are skilled in a variety of trades, including electrical, roofing, and carpet installation. They then do these jobs as a side hustle to finance their lives and fulfill their cost of living. Though I can't say that minor leaguers don't travel. They do. It's just that traveling to places like Europe's out of the equation. Instead, many will head south to play in winter ball leagues. Many winter leagues offer financial incentives for players to participate. These leagues may be especially attractive to players who do not make much money during the regular season. Winter leagues can be a great opportunity for young or developing players to get additional playing time and experience against quality competition. This can be especially beneficial for players who didn't get many opportunities during the regular season, but unfortunately, most winter ball teams don't always give the younger players a lot of chances. Instead, they look at how much clout and experience the athletes have. This means older players will get more preference compared to younger ones. Fortunately, many older players realize they're close to the bigs or have enough big league time, so they try to pass on the winter ball opportunities to the younger players. Well, there you have it, people. The secret life of MLB players during the offseason. That's it for me today. See you guys.